I'll cook my lunch inside again. Flatten that curve. If I can help to kill this mess, you know I will. It's up to us. Flatten the curve.
In a world.
You're starting to see a reoccurring theme here.
The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future, and we'll continue to follow them.
Are you starting to see a reoccurring theme here?
We've grown used to the idea of space, and perhaps we forget that we've only just begun.
There was not one.
We've only just begun.
There was not one.
We've only just begun.
There was not one.
We've only just begun.
There was not one high-powered zoom in the entire parking lot except for the flat earthers.
We're still pioneers. They, the members of the Challenger crew, were pioneers.
Yeah. Y'all don't even test things. You just blindly believe them.
And I want to say something to the school children of America who were watching the live coverage of the shuttle's takeoff.
Not one high-powered zoom.
I know it's hard to understand, but painful things like this happen. It's all part of the process of exploration and discovery.
And try to do the convexity rate math and deduce whether or not that physical obstruction that's necessitated by the radius value is actually there.
It's all part of taking a chance and expanding man's horizons.
Yeah. Y'all don't even test things. You just blindly believe them.
Don't keep secrets and cover things up.
They just show you a light in the sky. Oh, it's going to a medium that defies physics.
We do it all up front and in public.
Camera on a tripod out of 200 people. Just the flat earthers.
That's the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute.
Not one single person here has ever looked out there.
We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttle flights.
Are you starting to see a reoccurring theme here?
And more shuttle crews. And yes, more volunteers, more civilians, more teachers in space.
But the flat earthers are about to do it. Georgia Guidestones existed for almost 4 decades. No one's gone out there to take a time-lapse footage.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
Oh, there's rumors of some type of stain on top of the Georgia Guidestones, and you can freely fly a drone over it. Oh, the flat earthers had to go and check it out.
Or who worked on this mission. And tell them, your dedication and professionalism have moved and impressed us for decades.
The stupid flat earthers have to go and test every single thing, every single observation.
And we know of your anguish. We share it.
Isn't that funny? No one in Florida wears a mask, though. That's pretty dope.
The crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us for the manner in which they lived their lives. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them.
Some do, but it's like legit 80% of people do not wear a mask here.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
We're about to debunk the globe Earth so hardcore today, it's hilarious.
I want to add that I wish I could talk to every man and woman who works for NASA.
Isn't that funny?
Today, we can say of the Challenger crew, their dedication was, like Drake's, complete.
So, we're gonna go make long-distance observations on that pier, long-distance observations on the bridge, long-distance observations on the beach.
We've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to dazzle us. But for 25 years, the United States space program has been doing just that.
We're gonna go through the city, the Kennedy Space Center city, the town right here with all kinds of space propaganda and flat smack the whole town.
We've grown used to the idea of space.
And then we're gonna come back, top the night off with a lifetime documentation with the P-1000 zoomed in on their little Starlink's launch.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
So we can just debunk their claim that it goes into a second law of thermodynamics violation with their parabolic trajectory that barely moves up in the air. Of course, rockets have to increase initial velocity, that is
The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future.
literally directly relevant to the efficacy of a trajectory, of a parabolic path.
We've grown used to the idea of space.
If you're using a propulsion rocket, you have to actually increase and maximize your initial velocity.
I've always had great faith in and respect for our space program.
That thing barely moves, bro. It's such a joke.
The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future.
Have you ever been in person, Globers? Hey Globers, have you ever seen a SpaceX launch in person? Then why are you talking about it?
We do it all up front and in public.
Hey Globers, have you ever seen the Georgia Guidestones in person? Then why are you talking about it?
That's the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute.
Have you ever gone and tested whether or not Polaris lines up perfectly in the circle every single night? Then why are you talking about it?
And we'll continue to follow them.
Hey Globers, have you ever went and tested the convexity rate and see if the Earth is actually curving? Then why are you talking about it?
Keep secrets and cover things up.
Hey Globers, have you ever taken time lapse of the star trails over on Marine Horizon and see if they ever intersect? Because it would be a necessitation of your globe Earth theory. Then why are you talking about it?
I've always had great faith in and respect for our space program.
Hey Globers, have you ever tried to substantiate the claim of axial rotation without presupposing the very thing that you're claiming to prove? Then stop talking about it.
A historian later said he lived by the sea, died on it, and was buried in it.
Hey Globers, have you ever tried to ever actually make a working model in a form of a practical demonstration that shows even some of the theoretical possibilities of your core physical claims?
In his lifetime, the great frontiers were the oceans.
The fact that water, although fluid statics necessitates the antithetical to this, it bends convexly, adhering to the exterior of a spinning object.
And slipped the surly bonds of Earth to touch the face of God.
Going 1,000 miles per hour east at the equator, then it's revolving 66,600 miles per hour around the sun, that's shooting 500,000 miles per hour throughout the space.
There's a coincidence today.
And while there's a pressurized system adjacent to a near-perfect vacuum, none of this in any way needs practical demonstrations to even prove the possibility or potentiality of it.
Your dedication and professionalism have moved and impressed us for decades.
Explain that to me? Well, then stop talking about it.
Perhaps we forget that we've only just begun.
So you Globers don't do anything.
And what happened today does nothing.
You do nothing.
And what happened today does nothing.
You do nothing.
And what happened today does nothing to diminish it. We don't hide our space program.
It's called willful ignorance, right? You're speaking out of ignorance, bro.
I've always had great faith in and respect for our space program.
Casually are going to go debunk the globe while I sip a beer.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
Literally are going to go debunk the globe.
We do it all up front and in public.
In my beach shirt, casually, literally, while I sip a beer in my beach shirt, literally. But well, why don't you go do that?
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
While I sip a beer, casually are going to go debunk the globe, literally, in my beach shirt. But well, why don't you go do that? In my beach shirt, casually are going to go debunk the globe, literally, in my beach shirt, casually. Isn't that weird?
I want to add that I wish I could talk to every man and woman who works for NASA.
Isn't that weird that the stupid flat earthers are the only one that know the efficient ways to test?
We don't keep secrets and cover things up.
The actual dimensions claims of this physics-defying model.
There's a coincidence today. On this day, 390 years ago, the great explorer Sir Francis Drake died aboard ship off the coast of Panama.
We live on, brought to you by Jesuit priests who are crazy psychopathic pedophiles.
Keep secrets and cover things up.
Allegedly.
We do it all up front and in public.
It's also called imagination.
Thank you.
They're regurgitating what they memorized in the indoctrination camp, Austin. Yeah, of course.
As they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye.
But, well, why don't you go do that?
I want to add that I wish I could talk to every man and woman who works for NASA.
But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Keep secrets and cover things up.
Allegedly.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our show. So until next time, what are you waiting for? Hurry while supplies last. Bring your whole family on down here and subscribe and get a free banana.
The Friday Night Saint Show was filmed in front of a live studio audience.